Mr. Parker, I must tell you that, where's Mr. Parker? I must tell you my son, Harun, seems to respect you highly. Because since I received the letter from you, every week he was calling me, Mummy, have you responded to Mr. Parker? Are you going to Zimasile? And eventually he was very happy that indeed we would be attending this gala dinner, inshallah. Then a few days ago, Mr. Parker, I got a message from him that, Mummy, Mr. Parker says, keep your speech succinct and in between this minute and that minute. Mr. Parker, unfortunately, I received that message after I had written my notes. So if I exceed the time you and Harun agreed, please forgive me. So allow me then to recognize members of the Zimasile Islamic Society, the leadership of the society and the community of Muslims in Langa, all the board members of Zimasile Islamic Society, the youth who are supported by the society, and the distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen present here this evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to begin by thanking the leadership of the Zimasile Islamic Society and the organizers of this dinner for inviting me to speak here this evening. I am very encouraged at the efforts of the donors and supporters to give the highest esteem to our faith and to the faithful of Islam. We all have a duty as Muslims to foster knowledge of Islam, to encourage study of its primary teachings, and to support fellow Muslims to know that a major component of being a Muslim is based on your individual conduct and the manner in which you live your life as a Muslim. The Quran is a wonderful guide for all Muslims, setting out clear directives to us on matters of justice, equality, economic opportunity, empowerment of women, and the value of education for all persons. The beauty of Islam is that it does not choose to promote oppression or discrimination against any person except those who advance hatred and injustice. This means Islam is a very appropriate faith for a society emerging from the terrible toll of oppression and colonialism that was represented by the old system of apartheid and its still present legacies. Apartheid, as you all know, was largely about domination and denial of opportunity. It affected each of our communities in terrible ways. For us as Muslims in a democratic South Africa, we have a fresh opportunity to represent our faith as one that reflects the best in values and principles. This is why the Zimasile Islamic Society's role in the education of young Muslims and young people in Langa and other communities is so important. Advancing knowledge of Islam through reading, writing, and practice is the most advanced practice of social justice. The past association of Islam as reserved for certain communities in South Africa has created worrying inadequacies in those who embrace Islam today, and for community leaders who have traditionally been Muslim. So our history presents challenges to us in the expansion and practice of our faith. One difference that we have to attend to is infrastructure for religious practice. Muslim visitors who come to South Africa often marvel to me about the beauty and abundance of mosques in our cities and some of our townships. I was told recently by Imam Mujahid, the president of Justice for All in America, that the mosque in Soweto, Johannesburg, was built with funding from Muhammad Ali, the famous American world heavyweight boxing champion who embraced Islam when he was a young man. Imam Mujahid told me of Muhammad Ali's commitment through very active zakah and the manner in which he promoted dawah by teaching everybody he came close to about Islam. He told me he used to carry a bag, and in it were the basic teachings of Islam. And he would ask, brother, what faith do you practice? Sister, what faith do you practice? Do you know about Islam? And he'd give them something to read. This is the story I was told in the US recently by Imam Mujahid. Sadly, for those who embrace Islam today, the infrastructure is inadequate and not supportive of our new communities. Muslims in Khayelitsha have been hoping to construct a mosque and madrasa for many years, but have not secured sufficient support. The same is probably still true of other areas in our communities. We all need to do more to ensure our brothers and sisters practice Islam in dignity. I am aware that the intention of Zimasile Islamic Society is to ensure exactly this. And I hope that, inshallah, each and every one of you present today, while you have contributed to the cost of this dinner, that you will, by pledging or by pressing the buttons on that yellow machine, you will contribute to this intention. I really congratulate the leaders of Zimasile on their goal and encourage them to continue to do the work they're doing and ask all of us to support them, inshallah. We need to consider, as the Ummah in South Africa, a national effort to work together to create such infrastructure all over South Africa. Our efforts at social justice should extend beyond support from outside and include a full role for beneficiary communities as builders, teachers, and community leaders. Some of those who embrace Islam regard this as access to charity. We need to help unlearn that attitude and ensure that they become participants in the development opportunities that they may be fortunate to receive. The values of social justice that are enshrined in the Quran also require attention to economic empowerment for our brothers and sisters, and to learning the lessons of self-reliance, which are so important. We must not allow dependency and charity to be the sole basis of new relationships and embrace of our faith. Furthermore, we know that in many of our communities, some of us have business formations that provide employment opportunities and manufactured products. Our values of social justice require that we should be honest and committed workers and that as employers and business owners, we should be fair and just in paying fair wages and ensuring good working conditions. The most embarrassing moments for me often are when workers come and complain about a member of my community who is ill-treating them or denying them wages for fair work. This is not who we should be as this community. So it is important that we do not allow that characterization of who we are. Our obligations are, I believe, even broader, as social justice in Islam mandates concern about all human beings. Thus, while we are concerned very correctly about Muslims in Myanmar and in Kashmir, about Muslims in Palestine, we are equally concerned about Christians who are oppressed, about Jews who are oppressed, about Buddhists who are oppressed, about Palestinians who are oppressed. We support justice for the oppressed, not just for those who belong to our faith. The concept that is so prevalent in our faith of social justice and promotion of human rights imposes the important duty on us to be alert about injustices that exist everywhere and to work at ensuring all people enjoy protection and access to justice and freedom. Those of you who follow social media would have seen there's an American gentleman called Colonel Roger or something, and he talks about me on a regular basis. He says, I hate Christians, I'm anti-Semitic, I'm a tool of Iran, and any other name that he can find. The gentleman has never met me. He apparently lives somewhere in America, but he has thousands of followers to whom he communicates these lies. I have always been absolutely precise about indicating that we support the cause of the people of Palestine for freedom and justice. But we also support the cause of Christian Palestinians who wish to be free and to enjoy human rights. We do not hate Jews. We hate oppression. We hate injustice. And in all the work that we do, we must make this absolutely and abundantly clear. We are fortunate, I believe, as South Africans, to live in a country in which there is a clear constitutional imperative to advance the human dignity of all, to advance social justice, to advance freedom and democracy. Our perspectives on international relations and foreign policy are shaped by these constitutional imperatives. Our Constitution is clear in stating that we seek to promote and practice a foreign policy that advances peace, security, and justice. We have committed as South Africans to be active in opposing all forms of continuing colonial oppression. This is the key reason for South Africa's decision to take the apartheid state of Israel to the International Court of Justice. Before I speak on the case that our government, not Naledi, our government submitted, I wish to clearly indicate the reasons for referring to Israel as an apartheid state. Those of you who follow the news will have read that a few weeks ago, some of our members of parliament from a few opposition parties were funded by a Zionist organization to visit Israel. The MPs returned very jubilant and loudly proclaimed they had not found any apartheid in Israel. So people like Naledi Pandor, who referred to Israel as an apartheid state, are wrong, they said. The news did not report as to whether those MPs visited Palestine, but it's almost certain that they did not. They were clearly not permitted to visit Palestine because their funders were dishonestly fearful that our belief that Israel is an apartheid state imposing oppressive, racist apartheid laws on the people of Palestine would be exposed. Researchers and human rights organizations have investigated what the practice of apartheid means and have looked at the practices of Israel under its illegal occupation and have reported that the policies of Israel against Palestinians constitute apartheid policies as they mirror practices South Africans had to endure under apartheid. These practices include the reality that the land of the people of Palestine is illegally occupied. The land owned by Palestinians can be seized by any Israeli without compensation, just as we had under apartheid. Palestinians have to carry IDs that identify them as Palestinians. They need special permits to work. They do not have citizenship. They cannot vote. They cannot control their revenue or govern themselves. Even worse, they can be arrested on sight and detained for years without trial. They face torture or death in prison and enjoy no human rights. This situation has existed for over 75 years. It is apartheid. The attacks on Gaza civilians from October 8, 2023, caused us to decide to approach the International Court of Justice. The killing and the bombing of more than 300 schools, of all 13 universities, of libraries, of hospitals, of cultural centers, of clinics, as well as the murder of thousands, indicated to us that a genocide was underway in Israel. The government of South Africa believes that international law must be exercised to support those facing injustice, and hence our approach to the court. The case has been an important test of international law, global cooperation for peace and security, and global adherence to human rights. Now, you know, they have the English saying that a prophet has no friends except in his own home. We were criticized as South Africa for approaching the International Court of Justice. Today, all the countries that criticized us are suddenly saying that Israel is breaching international law. South Africa was the first. The rest, who supported Israel, many of them, are now following our lead. And we need to say that to the world. Belief in social justice encouraged South Africa to be the first country to stand up and challenge the murderous onslaught in Gaza. This support that we gave also resulted from the Palestinians' traditional support for our own struggle against apartheid. The Palestinian people don't need to thank us for taking the action we did, because they supported us when we were struggling against apartheid. They trained our freedom fighters. So they don't have to thank us. It is our obligation to stand with them in their time of trouble. Many, many decades ago, social justice and our belief in it drew our freedom fighters into an unbroken international solidarity with the freedom fighters of Palestine. Tell them it is a very important concept that leaders such as Oliver Tambo, Ahmed Kathrada, Amina Kachalia, and our leaders placed on the podium of the United Nations. It is called international solidarity. It means when I'm denied my rights as a human being, you as a fellow human being have a responsibility to join with me in the fight against oppression. We as South Africans went to the world and said that about apartheid. So today, we cannot turn our back on the Palestinian people and all others who supported us. The fact that we enjoyed that solidarity means we have an obligation to give back to others, supporting them to fight injustice. We belong to a wonderful country, and social justice and our belief in it, as well as our belief in the values elaborated in the Quran, means that we should live in terms of these values, and we should be ready to protect them when they are threatened. I said recently in America that we as Muslims, we are a peace-loving people, but we are permitted to engage in jihad when necessary. And we must remember this. We need to ensure that the young people being nurtured by the Zimasile Islamic Society and all young Muslims embrace these values and become true activists in the protection of all who need protection support. In our faith, we believe that faith without activism, faith without value, faith without commitment means nothing. So it is vital that we always affirm the fact that while we would want all our children, inshallah, to be hafiz and schooled fully in the Quran, if that learning does not translate into the embrace of social justice, we have failed in our teaching about children.